potential issues we may encounter with these newly fully connected cities and everything
Hmm.
centralized in a way, where there are indeed impacts that we don't know of yet.
Of course.
Just even though yes, we understand that fossil energy is what it is, and it does pollute, undoubtedly so, but there are indeed issues related to all these connectivities because we cannot deny the fact that we are obviously, since we are so connected with this all these Wi-Fi, all these fully virtual um, world that we're entering in, it's going to start messing with people's vibrational space. Like
Yeah.
there's literally people suffering from telephones being next to them, for example. Like it's
Yep.
affecting them the head with like massive headache and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's really real. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I for example on the weekends I'll have a tendency to just put my phone away for a little bit, and I can see that there is you just feel less. It's just strange. Maybe it's psychological, but I don't think so. Because if you really think about the fact that we are all energy, this can fuck with our energy in a very, 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 very unprecedented way. And it's
I mean, the,
doesn't
the
look too
rise of
good.
the smartphone, the rise of the smartphone is what? We had iPhone 13. So I would say 2007 was really when. But before that, we had like the Palm Trios and stuff. So let's say 2005, 2004. We are in. We are stepping into the unknown, and
At a very
more and
fast
more
pace.
at a very fast pace. And what is interesting is that the people want more.
Yeah,
The people
yeah.
always want the latest phone. They want better cameras. They want faster internet. They don't want to wait anymore. I remember I had so I'm those are back in the days. So I had this girl. Her name was Peggy La Cochon, and when I used to come to her house, every time I used to come to her crib, bro, she had a computer connected to the internet at speeds that were maybe 30 times less than now, and she would download hundreds of movies at the same time on BitTorrent and etc. and and then she would download all these things, series, movies, and then she would burn them on CDs. And me, I was like, but why? Because it's available. And today, today we have Netflix for $10 per month. You can listen to 60 million songs, if not more. You can watch even if you want to watch everything that's on Netflix, everything you can't because there's too much. By the time
It's
you're
true.
done watching everything, in I don't know how many years, there's gonna be twice more content because they are just creating content for the people who are just consuming content all the time. Plus, you have all the content that have been created since the beginning of cinema that's available. And if you're done watching everything on Netflix, then you have Amazon Prime. And if you're done, you have Hulu. And if you're done, you have Disney Plus, Apple TV, Peacock, whatever. And if all this is not enough for you, you can come here on YouTube or LinkedIn and whatever, and you have multiple people doing probably 5 million hours of live stream every day. So content is now an endless pit of
Possibilities.
unlimited data, and it comes all the time, and you can watch everything you want. And this changes people. This
Yeah.
also changes the energy of people. It's not just the electromagnetic that is changing people, but it's also the fact that you have access to everything. And listen, somebody called me, my best friend called me today, and she was like, "Oh, did you see on the news?" I say, "Which news of what country?" First of all, and, "Oh, this happened," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." "How come you don't know?" I said, "Sis, I don't live in France, and I care less and less about what happens there on the day to days. From time to time, what it do, Joel? From time to time, I will have yeah, I will check, like on Sundays. I will check everything that's going on around the world, different news media, etc. But I can choose to watch what I want to watch. And it's creating, instead of the access of information is now so, it's like you have access to everything, all kinds of information, all kinds of disinformation, and noise. Noise, everybody can make noise. So you end up, Miss Kiata, what do you do?
Kiara,
Congratulations again for becoming whatever you became. she 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 graduated in something. I forgot what it is, but she did.
Oh, congrats,
Yeah.
congrats. But hold on, kid. Before, not to cut to a point, but I just want to add a little something here
You
that
like
I
to
think
cut me in the middle of my sentences, and then we
that's
just
what
go
we
to the
do.
next subject.
That's what we do.
That's what
But
we
it's
do.
connected. But check
Yeah.
this out. The issue that most people have is the fact that corporate companies, massive corporate companies,
Yeah.
are taking obviously are more powerful than states, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, this lack of control from the states into or a lack of say from the states
Yeah.
into what these companies are doing is the
Yeah.
actual concern that is being raised by most people. And actually, we have to admit that the fact
Who
that
who
who is who?
most people who
Well, anybody that is, I wouldn't say
you look
okay.
good today, huh? You
No,
look good.
no, no.
I like this style, huh?
I
Did you
look
make
very
some
sexy.
money? Did you receive some money or something? Because
No,
you look you look
I'm still doing
peaceful.
fine. No, I'm peaceful, Baba. I'm telling you. Look, I'm on my
Yeah,
own journey,
you look
man. I'm good.
you look like somebody who made some money. I don't. Do you have some shows coming back? Like, yeah.
Thank you, Papa. It's coming, it's coming. We're working. It's not about
Yeah.
shows. We're investing
Look at
money
him.
into some cryptos.
Cigars. Yeah,
Of
yeah. You look
course,
like
now
somebody who's
abundance.
you look like somebody who's less stressed.
I cannot be stressed about and over what I cannot control. So let's be cool. Let's enjoy life. So with that being said, hello.
Actually, I
So
received my royalties today, so
oh shit, somebody's happy. Oh,
I'm
Sister
fine.
Kiera says she graduated with her MSW degree to be a clinical social worker. Beautiful, fantastic, sister. Greetings,
Can I send?
greetings.
Can I? I don't know if you hear my sound effect, but
Well
do you
done.
hear?
Very well done. Very well done. Papa Kaysha is more technological than I am. He's actually going through this whole system that he showed me before we started the live. We were doing the setup, and I'm like, damn. Okay, I need to upgrade at some point. But anyway, we good. We good. But yeah. So to the point, I was adding to what you were saying is that as we're going more and more towards this fully corporate controlled system, there are indeed some very very massive concerns of
Of course.
ethical approaches to this whole thing because as you know corporate companies way of moving is profit. So I mean what are you going to this is the thing and when you're looking at as you said this endless speed of opportunities of staying super distracted or informed or educated or uneducated or whatever the case may be and also the rise. For example, like look when they muted Donald Trump, that this guy cannot even access like he cannot open a Twitter, any of these accounts, right? So it's like, okay, how now there's people who say much more fucked up shit than he did, and he did say quite a
Yep.
lot. But the fact of the matter is that now this so-called democracy is it really democracy? Because if we're talking about democracy, one should be able to express themselves. But then and that's where you have these paradigms of the left and the right, and everybody's like clashing, and there's the rise of the left, and there's the the over dominance
So
of this. It's super crazy,
that's
man, what's
not.
going on right now.
There's a
I
lot
know, but
of
it's all
things at the
connected,
same time.
unfortunately.
But
Yeah,
so I would go to the first thing you were talking about, the
corporate
rise of
companies.
the multinationals, uber powerful companies. The people who are concerned are not really the people, us. Those who are concerned are the states. Why? Because they see their power, their influence. Because back in the days, you wanted to control the sentiment in Africa, all you had to do is spread the message on CNN, and everybody would agree. Or you wanted to have control of the sentiment in every French country, you would have RFI, Radio France Internationale. That would be the voice of the father, right? And they are losing this power now to some companies. And what is funny is that we, the users, are giving these like, because people don't trust governments. People actually
Not at
hate
all.
governments. People,
True.
yeah, they're tired of being taxed to different levels in different countries. For people who use their taxes to live good and not clean the street or protect them. So that's the sentiment of the people against tax. The same people have been giving for the last 15 years every information possible to those companies. People trust Apple more than they trust their governments. So they're going to leave their credit cards there, all their photos, etc. Why? In the name of convenience. People say, I hate Facebook, but they all have an Instagram account. Who owns Instagram? Facebook. Who owns WhatsApp? Facebook. Who owns Oculus? Facebook. Who owns Messenger? Facebook. So, and so all these people are losing, they gave all the power to these companies, and now that these companies are uber super powerful and they can decide, oh, listen, you're president, I don't care, mute. Now people are realizing, oh shit, they have too much power. Oh my god. And yeah, you have now people who, like we always say, the Nisinya, you don't have Facebook, but do you have Instagram? Because if you don't have Facebook but you have Instagram, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, yeah.
And or if you have WhatsApp, it's the same thing. Or if you hear talking on Google and using Gmail, it's the same thing. It's just different mega companies who listen. How many? Yeah, I don't like Facebook anymore. Imagine how much time when you go to the Instagram and you watch an ad about something that you were interested in, and then these ads follow you everywhere. Is because yeah, they are tracking you. They know sometimes you have conversation about something to somebody, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of ads that pertain to that thing. Why?
You know what's
Because
crazy?
they have amazing systems to track your habits. Imagine you've been on
Yeah,
Facebook or
even your
or
fears.
Instagram or WhatsApp for 15
Even your
years.
fears.
Yeah, they know everything about
Yeah, they
you.
know.
Even when you say, "Oh, I don't want you to track you," just because of the things you post, the things you like. After 15 years, they know who you are. Listen, when I go to sometimes, and I don't know if it happens to you, every time I go to, let's say,
I
for
was
example,
about to say
I hear
something.
news about somebody, and I want to talk about, I want to see who's that person. So I'm going to look their Instagram up. I go to Instagram and I go to the search page, and in the search page, there's a lot of things that I like. And instead of doing what I came to do, I end up looking at whatever it is. And then I'm like, after 30 minutes, I'm like, hey, I didn't come here for that. What was I looking for? It happens to me
Very true.
every day. Like, and so if you are into blonde girls with blue eyes, when you go to the search to look for something specific, then you're gonna see a bunch of the beautiful, the prettiest blonde girls with blue eyes, and all of a sudden you hear looking at them, and then you forgot what you came for. And that's exactly how AI became so powerful. And those, they have technologies, and trust me, when they're gonna put this in glasses, most people will go buy the glasses, because that's who we became as societies. People, a lot of people, they don't even see themselves are as French or English or Congolese or Japanese. They see each other as whatever group they are. And the worst part is that I remember 10 years ago, or even before that, back in the days of MySpace, there was this concept, which was the concept of the micro stars. It was like when you had 5,000 followers, you was a micro star, and you had like influence over your 5,000 people. But now imagine that you have people like Cardi B or Nicki Minaj or Joe Bud, whoever, that they have massive followings of millions, of 10 millions of people, sometimes more. And when they say, "Oh, I like pink dresses," everybody go buy pink dresses. And this is creating so much, it's just changing people. And the people who think that the states will regain their power, I don't even know, because now you have cryptocurrencies that make you being able to just be beyond the scope of the power of the dollar. And some people are welcoming this because they want to be like some countries have been. Americans have been using the dollars to control all these countries. Now, with these, the rise of the cryptocurrencies, and the rise of the fact that you can have a political discourse and be heard by millions upon millions of people without ever leaving your house. So you can be in an undisclosed location. You can put on a mask, and they will never find you. Back in the days, it was easy. You were a political opponent. It was kind of simple. Depending on the country you were, you could say something, and in some other countries, you were assassinated. It was easy. Today, listen, you got a bunch of people who believe that the earth is flat.
Yeah.
And how you're going to say, well, have you been in space to contradict them? No, you haven't. Yeah, but if I walk I will go back to where I was. Yeah, did you do it? No. So, and these people, and you have groups of people. They don't need to have a country to group them. I remember how hard it was to have our music go from wherever we were to the other side of the world. Today, you can release a song right now, and in 1 minute, somebody is listening to the song in China. So, in a point, it's amazing, and at the same time, it is scary. But progress will not care for our scare,
Sentiments.
our fears. It will just continue creating new habits and maybe new rules,
Yeah,
and
no, but there's
then
no problem I don't think there's a problem with progress. Not to cut you, bro, but it's more than progress. Actually, I think the progress is not an issue. It's how it is being monitored. I think that's really where the issue is. I think obviously progress is inevitable, and it has to be welcomed, but there are just certain things about progress, especially when we talk about these technologies, and obviously they are part of our life, and they're very, very, very useful. For example, I agree with you when you were talking about when you go to search for somebody's name or somebody's profile on Instagram, they have all these suggestions. For example, I have a fear for reptiles. I hate snakes, but I mean, and I could not even see snakes. I mean, I still can't. I'm still not a fan of snakes, but that's all I get. snakes, I love, my sartorial stuff, etc. But snakes, there's a dominance of snakes on my on this thing. So it's like it's feeding off of my.
What the
But then
fuck?
because but I'm looking at it, right? Because I'm like, oh
Ah,
shit,
that's
and then I
thing.
get intrigued, and then I'm like, okay, then you look and you're like, ah, damn, no, 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 I can't, and then you go back to do what you were doing. But there's one thing that I noticed that is problematic for a lot of people, and specifically if you're looking at the kids, right? The the way the youth are consuming content.
Yep.
In some way, it's amazing, and actually, it can be super, super impressive. How, for example, kids speak. I mean, language is so fast. Like your daughter watching
Yep.
cartoons in Russian,
Yep. Yep.
or my nieces and nephews, watching YouTube videos of Play-Doh or whatever in some foreign language, and they actually understand because the
Yeah.
words are associated to the movement, and those are things that are very interesting. But then you have the flip side of it, where you have
Yeah.
all these games, these online games. One of my nephews highly addicted to this thing, and he's not even 12 years old. So we've had to, because at first you're like, the parents are like, my sister's like, it's cool, it's my brother-in-law, like, they play. But then it got to a point where he could not even have an actual proper social life within the house because the game was just taking over. And I think that's a responsibility of the parents to make sure that
Exactly.
they, they restrict access. But then there's only so much restriction you can give because, as you know,
Yep.
this is the world we're in, right? So how do you now work
Man,
with?
give me a second.
Yeah,
My
go ahead.
sushi has arrived.
Nice. The question, therefore, that comes, I think, is how do you um, help sort of like control these things without frustrating their evolution within this you know society that's going towards a future that we clearly have not much idea of what it's going to be like. And I do agree with you, Erica, when you said that progress needs to be defined. All these terms are relative, especially in the polarized societies. Um, yeah, I mean, but what is not polarized nowadays? You feel me? Like everything becomes problematic. Everything becomes super, 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 super political, super, super polarized. There's no way you can have a healthy conversation with someone, with anyone at this point, or with very few people um, that will be healthy, that will actually be um, leaning towards an understanding that, okay, we may not share the same point of views, but we can still hear each other out. And that's where the in my opinion, the necessity to really individually, but also collectively understand that, we have got to seize the opportunity of the fact that we still have a conscious mind at play, right?